Let's start with the most insulting part of your job. You didn't sign up to be a villain. You signed up to be employed. You wanted stable pay, a contract, a future, a nice little I survived space capitalism retirement plan. And instead, you got Pandora, the prettiest planet anyone has ever invaded. The kind of place that looks like a screensaver. The kind of place where the trees glow like they're showing off. And your job description is basically invade the prettiest planet and lose. Not maybe lose. Not could go either way. Lose. Because every single thing on Pandora has two qualities. Beautiful. Capable of ending your life. You step off the shuttle like you're in a recruiting commercial. Helmet on. Armor shining. Boots stomping like you're the main character. And then a plant sneezes toxic pollen at your face. And the forest is like,
"Oh, you're here. Cute."
You look around like,
"Wow, it's gorgeous."
Then the gorgeous tries to eat you. And this is when it hits you. Pandora isn't a battlefield. It's an ecosystem with opinions. And your company just volunteered you as the comment section. Welcome to Pandora. Enjoy your stay. You'll be running the whole time. The recruitment scam. You thought this was a job. It's a trap. Nobody becomes an RDA grunt because they're like,
"Hi. Yes. I'm passionate about extraction."
You become an RDA grunt because Earth is a bill collector with a planet attached. You've got debt. You've got rent. You've got a family member who needs meds. You've got an
I'm one emergency away from ruin
situation. So when the recruiter shows up with the pitch, it sounds like salvation. Not because you're naive, because you're tired, because you're cornered, because the word stable paycheck hits your brain like a warm blanket. They sit you down in a bright room with a big screen and corporate confidence. You know the vibe. Smells like printer ink and lies. There's a little water bottle on the table, like this is a respectful negotiation and not a trap with branding. Slide 1, opportunity. Slide 2, adventure. Slide 3, be part of history. Slide 4, a sunset over an alien jungle like it's a vacation brochure. And you're like,
Wait, so I get paid to go to space?
and they're like,
Yes, you'll be a protector.
protector of what? The spreadsheet. But they don't say that part out loud. They say words like security, stability, mission, protocol. They say team, like you're joining a family and not becoming a bullet point. They don't show you the real slide deck. They don't show you the vines that move like they have intent, the predators that sound like nightmares clearing their throat, the plants that look cute until they become medical events. The fact that the planet itself is basically a living Wi-Fi network that hates colonialism. No, they show you the hero shots. They show you sleek mechs, cool helmets, neat patches. They show you the kind of footage where you look tall and brave and important. They do not show you the footage where you're sprinting through glowing grass like, why is the ground angry? They do not show you the patch that says, congrats. You're an NPC in a nature documentary, and the documentary hates you. And you sign anyway. Because you don't have the luxury of being picky. Because the world doesn't let you choose between ethical and eating. Because when survival is the only option, you stop asking what the job costs your soul. Pandora orientation. HR is trying, but the planet is louder. So you arrive. And on your first day, you get orientation. Not from a battle-hardened commander. From HR, a person whose entire career path did not prepare them for the sentence.
Okay, team. Today we'll review what to do if the forest decides you're the problem.
They hand you a safety manual. It's 900 pages, which is impressive because it still somehow leaves out the most important chapter. What to do when everything wants you dead. HR puts on a training video, and it's not a training video. It's a hostage note with PowerPoint transitions. A calm narrator says,
Welcome to Pandora. Follow these simple steps to ensure a safe and productive deployment. Step 1. If you see glowing, do not touch. Step 2. If it breathes, do not approach. Step 3. If it looks friendly, it's lying. Step 4. If you hear a sound, you are already late.
Then there's a pause, and the narrator goes,
Step 5. Don't.
How to survive. Step 1. Don't. The instructor tries to sound confident while showing footage that is basically a man running, another man running, everyone running, and the wildlife is barely trying. Because that's the thing about Pandora. It doesn't chase you like a villain. It chases you like your lunch. The body tax. Everything here is stronger, faster, and offended. Pandora is not just a world. Pandora is a fitness test. Not a cute little wellness journey fitness test either. A fitness test where the instructor is a carnivorous planet and the final exam is, don't die. Everything here can outrun you, outclimb you, outswim you, outjump you, and then still have enough energy to sit down and have a calm, emotional conversation about the interconnectedness of life. You know what that's like? It's like being the only human in a dolphin family reunion. Everyone is sleek. Everyone is aerodynamic. Everyone is spiritually aligned. And you're just there like,
Hi, I am trying my best.
you're in a mech suit and still feel underdressed. You've got a rifle. Pandora has physics. You've got tactics. Pandora has homework. You've got armor. Pandora has judgment. The wildlife isn't just dangerous. It's organized. It's like every creature got the memo.
New invaders just dropped. Handle that.
And the plants? The plants aren't decor. They're booby traps with personalities. You step on moss and it's like,
Actually, no.
you brush a leaf and it's like,
That was disrespectful.
your step count is not health. It's evidence. Your Fitbit says,
Steps 11,000. Near deaths 6. Trees offended 14.
and every day you learn a new animal exists by being chased by it. The gear lie. Your equipment is amazing until it isn't. Let's talk about the tech. Because RDA loves tech. They love selling you the fantasy that your gear makes you powerful. And for 5 minutes, it does. You step out in that armor like,
Okay, we're advanced. We're protected. We're the future.
and then Pandora does what it always does. It introduces humidity. Your visor fogs. Your comms crackle. Your suit starts making sounds like it's thinking about quitting. Your ammo jams right when you need it not to. And you realize your equipment is high-tech, but it was built on a planet where trees don't take things personally. Meanwhile, the Na'vi are operating on ancestral instinct, parkour, anger, and a planet that literally backs them up. And you're over here troubleshooting your headset like,
Hello? Come on. Checking comms, still nothing. Anyone on this channel?
Pandora doesn't care about your upgrades. Pandora sees your tech and goes,
Nice. That'll look good on the ground.
the Na'vi problem. You're the invader and you know it. They tell you the Na'vi are hostiles. They say it like that word is supposed to clean the situation. Hostiles. Not people. Not families. Not a whole civilization. Hostiles. And then you see them. You see kids. You see rituals. You see community. You see a way of living that makes Earth look like a mistake. And the whiplash hits your nervous system like a slap. Because deep down, you know the truth. You are not the hero of this story. You are a guy with a gun standing in someone else's home. So your brain tries to cope. It goes numb. It laughs. It makes jokes. Because it's easier to call it a mission than admit you're wrecking someone's world. And sometimes you catch yourself thinking,
What are we doing here?
then your radio chirps and reminds you,
Stay on task.
the incompetence ladder, decisions made above your pay grade. The funniest tragedy of being an RDA grunt is this. You're not even the villain with agency. You're a pawn with boots. The strategy always comes from someone who is not in the mud. Someone in a clean room points at a map and says,
Push forward.
your intel is always.
Should be fine.
Your backup plan is always.
We'll circle back.
And every time you ask a reasonable question like,
Hey, what's the plan if the planet fights back?
they give you corporate answers like,
Maintain operational readiness.
which is code for good luck. You are not a soldier. You are a line item. You are a cost. And your value decreases the moment you step off the shuttle. Hazard pay? Best we can do is a patch, a motivational poster, and a thank you for your service message written by someone who has never been chased by a six-legged cat the size of a car. The real enemy, the planet's group chat. Here's what you learn fast. You're not fighting a tribe. You're fighting a network. Pandora is connected. Everything talks. Everything remembers. Everything shares. It's like the planet has a group chat called Eywa, handle this. And the moment you cross a line, your location gets posted. And then everything shows up. Not one predator. Not two. The entire neighborhood. The sky. The ground. The air. Even the vines are like,
Oh, we're doing this today?
and that's the part that makes you feel stupid. Because you came here thinking,
This is a battle.
but Pandora is not a battlefield. Pandora is a living thing. And you are basically a splinter. The humiliation cycle. You keep losing in the most scenic ways possible. This is the part nobody talks about. You don't just lose. You lose cinematically. You lose with waterfalls behind you. You lose under glowing trees like a tragic postcard. You lose while the soundtrack would be beautiful if you weren't screaming. You get humbled in HD. Pandora makes your defeat look like an award-winning montage. And the worst part? It keeps happening. You build a base. It gets torn down. You come back with bigger machines. Pandora comes back with bigger consequences. You try intimidation. Pandora tries ecosystem. You try control. Pandora tries, you are not in charge here. Every day your mission brief is, Step 1, don't. Step 2, too late. Step 3, run. Gut punch. You're paid to be the villain, and it costs you anyway. Okay, here's where the jokes start to thin out. Because there's a moment, usually at night, when it gets quiet. And you realize you can still hear the planet. Not in a spooky way. In a living way, you hear insects. You hear distant calls. You hear the jungle breathing like it's awake. And you're sitting in your metal box, surrounded by beauty, surrounded by life, doing a job that makes you feel smaller than you've ever felt. And sometimes you have dreams. Not heroic ones. Not we won dreams. Dreams where you remember faces. Dreams where you remember the sound someone made when your orders became their tragedy. And the worst part? You're not even the one writing the orders. You're not the CEO. You're not the strategist. You're not the person who decided this was worth it. You're just the hands that make it real. And that stains you anyway. Because it doesn't matter if you were just following protocol. If your hands are part of it, you carry it. And that's the secret misery of being you. You don't get the power, but you still get the guilt. You're the lowest rung on a ladder built out of choices you didn't make, and you still bleed when it collapses. The existential punchline. Even if you win a day, you're still losing the story. Here's the truth. Winning on Pandora doesn't mean victory. It means you survived Tuesday. You held a perimeter for a few hours. You moved a convoy. You didn't die in a new and embarrassing way. That's it. Because even if you win a day, the planet is still there. The people are still there. And your presence is still wrong. You can't conquer a place that is spiritually unified against you. You can't outgun belonging. You can't out-tech a living system that treats you like a virus. You're fighting the prettiest planet. And the planet is morally superior. That's brutal. That's humiliating. That's why they need propaganda. Because without propaganda, you'd notice the truth. You are not here to protect anything. You are here to extract. And extraction isn't noble. It's just hunger wearing a badge. You're not a hero. You're a warning. So let's land this. Because when you strip away the corporate slogans and the shiny gear, what's left is a person. A person who came here for a paycheck. A person who wanted a future. A person who got folded into a machine bigger than him. And maybe you tell yourself you can't leave. Because leaving means admitting what you did. Leaving means admitting that security was a costume. That mission was a euphemism. that progress was just an excuse to take. So you stay. You keep going. You keep suiting up. You keep walking onto the prettiest planet in the universe and acting like you belong there. But Pandora doesn't hate you personally. Pandora hates what you represent. You represent the part of humanity that sees beauty and immediately asks,
How do we profit off this?
You represent extraction. You represent entitlement. You represent the idea that if something is valuable, it must be owned. And the planet answers that idea the only way it can. With resistance. With consequences. With a forest that refuses to be silent. So yeah, that's why it sucks to be an RDA grunt on Pandora. Because your job description is invade the prettiest planet and lose. And the worst part is, you start to realize the planet isn't the enemy. It never was. Now tell me, who should we dissect next? Drop it in the comments. Smash like if your brain feels 30% more haunted but 70% more entertained. And hit subscribe if you're into ideas that stick, figures that sketch. Ready for your next system update? Tap here and keep playing smart.